I held the gift bags a little tighter in my hands as I walked up the steps to my childhood home. Snow was falling gently, and the porch light flickered like it always did in the winter. I could already imagine how the living room would look. Warm lights, cinnamon candles, the same old red and gold ornaments we used every Christmas. My heart felt full. I had picked out gifts for everyone with care like I always did. It didn't matter that I wasn't married or had kids to bring along like my sister. I was coming home. Or so I thought. I rang the doorbell, already smiling. I could hear laughter inside, dishes clinking, Christmas music faintly playing in the background. The door opened. My dad stood there holding a mug, wearing the same old navy sweater I bought him 2 years ago. But his face was different. Pulled tight. "Sorry," he said, not even stepping aside. "This is only for real family." I blinked, thinking I misunderstood. "Dad, it's me." "I know," he said flatly. "But we talked. It's better this way." The cold outside didn't compare to the chill I felt inside me. I looked past him. There was my sister laughing with her kids, my father's new wife arranging food. No one looked my way. No one asked him to stop. I didn't say a word. I turned around, stepped off that porch slowly, and walked back through the snow with my arms still full of gifts no one wanted. I had spent the entire week picking out gifts. Not just random ones, but thoughtful little things I knew each person would love. My niece liked puzzles, so I found her this beautiful wooden one shaped like a snowflake. My sister had been talking about needing new baking trays, so I splurged and got her a top-of-the-line set. For Dad, I bought a rare vintage record I found online. The same music he used to play when we put up the Christmas tree as kids. It wasn't just about the gifts. It was about showing up. Being part of the family. Even after everything. Earlier that year, when my dad was falling behind on the mortgage, I stepped in without hesitation. I wired the money the same day he asked, no questions, no delays. I thought helping them stay in the house, our house, meant something. I thought family meant showing up for each other, especially when it mattered most. I never expected to be the one left out in the cold. As I pulled into the driveway, snow was falling gently. I could see the windows glowing with warm light, shadows dancing from inside. Laughter, movement, the clinking of silverware. My heart fluttered. Despite the ups and downs, I thought this would be a chance to feel included again. I climbed the porch steps, my boots crunching softly in the snow. My arms were full of carefully wrapped gifts. I adjusted my scarf, took a deep breath, and rang the bell. The familiar chime echoed, and for a moment, it felt like any other Christmas. The door opened. My dad stood there holding a mug, steam rising from it. He looked older than I remembered, but his eyes weren't warm. Not like they used to be. "Hi, Dad," I said, forcing a smile. "Merry Christmas." He didn't smile back. "Sorry," he said, his voice low but firm. "This is only for real family." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "What?" He didn't move. Didn't blink. Just stood there staring at me with that same distant look. "We talked about it. It's better this way." I couldn't even speak. My throat tightened. My cheeks burned. I looked past him into the house. The tree was up, stockings hung, kids running around. My sister was placing cookies on a tray. No one turned to look. No one came to the door. My hands trembled, but I held on to the bags. After everything, I helped pay the mortgage this year. I thought. He didn't even flinch. "You made choices. And so did we." I wanted to scream, but instead I nodded. Fully. My voice barely came out. "Okay." I turned around. The door shut behind me before I even made it to the first step. The wind hit my face, but I didn't feel it. My heart was pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. I walked back to my car, the gifts still in my arms, heavier now somehow. My breath clouded in the freezing air, but all I felt was that deep, hollow space where family used to live. I sat behind the wheel for a long time. I couldn't cry. I couldn't speak. I just stared at the house where I grew up, where I thought I still belonged. And that night, as I drove away through the snow, it hit me. Sometimes the people you'd do anything for will look you straight in the eye and act like you never existed. About 15 minutes after I left, I was still sitting in my car, parked a few blocks away in an empty gas station lot. I hadn't turned on the radio. I hadn't touched my phone. The heater was blowing, but I still felt cold deep in my bones. I was just stunned. I kept replaying it in my head. The way Dad looked at me like a stranger, how no one came to the door, how quickly they shut me out. After everything. After all the years I tried. My phone buzzed, pulling me out of my trance. It was my sister calling. I stared at her name on the screen, my thumb hovering over the green button for a second longer than usual. Then I picked up. "Hey," she said softly, like nothing had happened. I didn't say anything at first. Just listened. "We didn't want it to be this way," she said. "But we thought you'd understand. With how things have been, it just didn't feel right. You know how Dad is now. Things are different." "Yeah," I said calmly, my voice flat. "Okay." There was a pause, a silence that felt like she didn't expect me to be that composed. Then, she didn't hang up. At first I thought the call had ended, but I could still hear faint voices. It took me a second to realize she had placed the phone down without disconnecting. I heard her voice, clearer now, as she walked back into the kitchen. "She took it pretty well," she said, followed by a light laugh. Then came another voice, a little deeper, maybe her husband or someone else in the room. "She still thinks paying the mortgage means she's family." They both laughed. Like I was some joke. I sat completely still. The phone still pressed to my ear. I didn't hang up. I didn't say a word. I just listened as they continued to talk. Not about me, not with anger, but with casual dismissal. Like I was just nothing. "She always needs to be the good one. It's exhausting," my sister muttered, and I could hear the clink of dishes as she set something down. "She thinks showing up with presents means she gets a seat at the table." I ended the call quietly. No dramatic exit. No screaming. No confrontation. Just silence. But something shifted inside me in that moment. A line had been crossed, not just by their actions but by their words. By the ease with which they excluded me, mocked me, laughed like I was a fool for caring too much. Like I was stupid for believing I still mattered to them. I stared at my reflection in the dark screen of my phone. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel sadness. I felt clarity. They had drawn the line. And now I was going to show them exactly what it felt like to be on the outside. It didn't start like this. We used to be close, at least that's what I told myself. After Mom passed away, everything changed, but I tried to hold everyone together. I really did. Dad had fallen apart. Grief does strange things to people, but his grief turned into coldness. He stopped talking much. He'd just sit in front of the TV, not eating, not moving, not caring. The hospital bills piled up fast after his heart scare 2 years ago. I was the one who stepped in. I paid every invoice without question. I didn't even tell him I was doing it, just wired the payments quietly so the house wouldn't fall apart. My sister, Erica, was struggling with college at the time. She had always been the emotional one, her word, not mine. Mom used to baby her, and after Mom died, she expected me to fill that role. She'd call me crying about tuition deadlines, about rent, about how she just couldn't focus. I drained a big chunk of my savings to cover her final year. No interest, no timeline, no contracts. Just family. That house. The one where Dad told me I didn't belong? They were going to lose it after Mom's life insurance money ran out. Dad couldn't work and Erica was still figuring things out. I was the only one bringing in steady income. So I started paying the mortgage, every month without fail. I even arranged for repairs, paid for the roof leak, replaced the old water heater when it finally gave out last fall. When Erica got married the first time, I was the one who helped plan it. I helped her find a dress, baked cupcakes for the rehearsal dinner, even covered the DJ because her groom forgot. That marriage didn't last more than a year, but I never said, "I told you so." I just held her while she cried. But then, the second wedding came along. A flashier one. A bigger venue. Custom invitations, designer dress, destination honeymoon. She came to me again, this time, asking me to co-sign a loan for her wedding expenses. That was where I drew the line. Not because I didn't love her, but because I finally saw the pattern. She pouted, cried, and finally yelled, saying I always wanted to control everything. That was the beginning of the shift. I didn't realize it at the time, but that no made me the outsider. Dad, who had once leaned on me for every medical appointment and bill, suddenly became distant. Erica stopped calling as often. I wasn't invited to her bridal shower. I wasn't asked to help with planning. When I showed up at the wedding, I was seated near the back, not with the family. Her excuse: "You were always too busy anyway." It didn't happen overnight, but I saw it. Slowly they stopped sharing things with me. Group photos where I was left out. Holiday plans forgotten, until the last minute. Subtle digs at how I always threw money at problems. And now here we are. I stood on that porch in the snow, holding a bag full of carefully wrapped presents. Things I had picked out weeks in advance. Things I thought would make them smile. But Dad didn't even flinch. "Sorry," he said, eyes blank. "This is only for real family." And the door closed. All the years I spent showing up, paying bills, putting them first, it didn't matter. The moment I stopped giving more than I had to give, I stopped being family. And somehow that made this betrayal so much worse. Because it wasn't sudden. It was slow. Calculated. Like they'd been preparing to cut me out for a long time. And today was just the day they finally said it out loud. I sat in my car across the street from that house. My house, really, watching the lights through the frosted windows. They didn't even bother to look back after shutting the door. No one ran after me. No one called. Not even Erica, who used to call me 10 times a day just 2 years ago. But I didn't cry. I couldn't. Something inside me had gone still. Like the snow collecting on the windshield. I just sat there listening to the silence. And then I remembered. They forgot something. Something important. That house they were celebrating in so freely. The house Dad called me a stranger in. It still stood because of me. The mortgage payments, the utilities, the subscriptions for internet, Netflix, even Dad's heart medication delivery service. They were all routed through my account. They didn't even bother to change it. Because I'd always been the reliable one. The background support. The one who would just handle it. Well, not anymore. I pulled my laptop from the passenger seat and connected my phone's hotspot. My fingers didn't hesitate. I logged into the mortgage portal, my name on the payment method, and clicked Cancel Autopay. A warning popped up. Your mortgage payment is currently active. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. Then I went to the electricity account. Gone. Internet. Gone. Insurance on the house. Removed myself as payer and revoked permission for renewal. Subscription services? I made a list as I went. Hulu, Spotify, Amazon Prime. Anything I knew Erica used. Every single one had been started through my family plan. They liked to joke about how handy it was that I'd already set everything up. Gone. And the cards. Oh, the cards. Erica had a supplemental card under my account she used just for emergencies. But I'd seen how that emergency turned into Ubers, pedicures, and boutique candles. Walked. Dad's prescriptions were under my insurance plan. He had no clue. After Mom died, I quietly added him to my benefits as a dependent. No thank you ever came, not once. But now. I went in, unchecked his name, and submitted the update. Effective immediately. They thought I was nothing more than a wallet. A helper. A silent background figure meant to carry the weight but never expect a seat at the table. So I took my weight back. It wasn't about revenge, not yet. It was about boundaries. It was about waking up. And yet, even as I deactivated each link, I thought back to little moments. Erica crying on my couch after her first breakup. Dad squeezing my hand during his hospital stay. The way we used to decorate that tree together when Mom was still here. For a second, my hand hovered over the remove button. Then I remembered Dad's words. "Sorry, this is only for real family." And Erica's voice in that call. She didn't hang up. She still thinks paying the mortgage means she's family. They'd made their feelings clear. So I made mine clear too, silently, methodically, with every click. By the time I finished, it was late. My inbox filled with confirmation emails. Services canceled. Access denied. They wouldn't feel it right away. But give it a day. A week. And slowly they'd realize how much I was actually holding up. And how fast things fall when I stop. Morning light filtered through the curtains as I slowly woke up, still feeling the weight of last night's cold silence. My phone buzzed endlessly on the nightstand. I reached over and unlocked it, my heart sinking. 61 missed calls. The screen was flooded with their names. Dad, Erica, even some numbers I didn't recognize but guessed were family, friends, or neighbors. I didn't answer any of them. Then a text popped up from Erica. "There's no heat in the house. You can't do this. We're freezing." I stared at the message without typing a response. My phone rang again. This time it was Dad. I let it ring until it went to voicemail. His voice sounded desperate, shaky. "Why are you doing this? We're your family. You don't have to do this." I felt a lump in my throat but didn't say a word. No reply. No call back. They wanted a reaction. They wanted me to feel guilty. To come running back and fix everything. But after everything, how could I? I thought of the gifts I had bought, carefully wrapped and carried through the snow, only to be told I didn't belong. I thought of the mocking voice on the phone forgetting to hang up. I thought of all the times I paid, sacrificed, and put their needs first. And I stayed silent. I didn't need to explain myself to anyone anymore. Let the house stay cold. Let the calls keep coming. This was the beginning of a new chapter. One where I put myself first. Where I stopped being invisible. Where I started being seen. Late that afternoon, as I was sipping coffee and scrolling through my phone, I heard a loud knock at my apartment door. My heart skipped a beat. No one had come to see me since that cold Christmas morning. I wasn't expecting company, especially not them. I opened the door to find Dad and Erica standing there, both looking worn out, but with that familiar look. Like they were trying to act hurt, like victims in a story they wrote themselves. "We were just joking," Erica said, forcing a weak smile. "Christmas isn't the same without you." Dad nodded slowly, his eyes searching mine as if hoping for forgiveness. "We never meant to shut you out like that." I looked at them calmly, my voice steady but firm. "I know who I am now. And I know what I was to you and Atum." There was a silence, thick and heavy. Erica's eyes flickered, Dad's face tightened. "I carried the mortgage. I paid the bills. I kept this family from falling apart when Mom was gone. And you forgot me the moment I said no to your demands." Erica opened her mouth, but I held up my hand. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to tell you that I'm done being invisible. I'm done being the family helper who gets kicked out when it's convenient." Dad looked down at his feet. Erica shifted awkwardly, but no words came. I closed the door slowly, the sound echoing through the empty hallway. Behind that door I felt something change inside me, a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. They came to play the victim, to guilt me into submission. But this time I was the one holding the cards. And I was done playing their game. After closing the door behind them, I didn't rush to call anyone or try to fix what was broken. Instead, I went to the kitchen and made myself a cup of tea. I sat down by the window, watching the late afternoon light fade gently over the quiet street outside. There was no sadness in the silence that wrapped around me. It was calm, peaceful, even freeing. For years I had been the one who gave everything. The gifts, the money, the time. Always the giver, never the guest. I thought back to all those Christmases I spent rushing around, making sure everyone else was happy, while I quietly tucked away my own feelings, my own needs. I was so focused on keeping the family together that I forgot to ask if I belonged there too. But tonight was different. Tonight I gave myself a gift no one else could. The gift of walking away. I didn't need their approval or their invitations anymore. I didn't need to be included on their terms. They taught me what real family meant. It just didn't include them anymore. As I sipped my tea, I felt something inside me shift. It was the beginning of something new, something better. A life where I could finally put myself first. A life where I belonged, not because of money or favors, but because I was truly valued. And for the first time in a long time I smiled, quietly, to myself. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give is freedom. And I had finally found mine.